Hi, how's everyone out there doing? This is Amy Hamilton, and I'm so honored to be here with the marvelous Mel Kelly today, author of Top Tips of Dating Disasters in Germany. And
Well,
Mel and I have really expanded into top tips of dating disasters globally. Mel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, better than fantastic. That's my American. How you doing? My normal one is grand, but I mean we're talking to Americans here, so we have to go fantastic.
I don't want to limit this to Americans, though, Mel. There's bad dating everywhere.
No, but I mean when you say
Anywhere
hello,
there's dating, there's bad dating.
when you say hello, how are you doing in America? You have to go fantastic.
Why do you mock my country so much?
Do you really want me to answer that?
Yes.
Because you deserve it.
Oh.
Anyway, so I'm doing fantastic today, all the way from Munich, Germany, but I'm still better than fantastic. So good.
Mel, we're going to talk about a serious topic today.
What's this?
And you just said you were fantastic. But what's not fantastic is when you end up in a dating situation that's bad. And maybe it's a bad first date and you're like ready to just like try to figure out like how do you get out of the situation so you can go home, or maybe it's a few dates in.
Yeah.
So our viewers want to know, Mel, what is your bad, disastrous dating advice to get out of bad dating situations?
Well, it's very simple. You just leave.
You just walk out, like crawl out the bathroom window.
You just go to the bathroom and to disappear. It's very straightforward. It's a very graceful manner. It's a very graceful approach, non-confrontational. You've run a very, very, very low risk of running into an argument with this approach. It's basically go to the toilet and disappear.
Okay, so this is a 2-minute episode. Everyone, your advice is just go to the loo and don't come back.
Well, then you've got the message across without having to have an argument, without having to hurt anybody's feelings directly. I mean, people's feelings will obviously be hurt. That's fair enough. But yeah, I mean, but if you're in a bad situation, but I mean, what would you suggest, Amy?
I think sometimes like what you should try to do is just figure out like, is it, and I'm going to go with a first date scenario. Is it maybe you? Is I think the first thing you should consider.
Never me. Never me.
Mel, top tips dating disasters. Mel Kelly. It's literally in the it's Mel's bad dating, right? So,
of course, it's never me.
No, but sometimes you go in and maybe like you're having a bad day or whatever, and maybe you're taking that in with you, and maybe you do need to go to the bathroom, but you need to check yourself and say, hey, is this me? Is this me having a bad day, projecting it on this person, or something like that? So I think that's an important thing to check into is what is your own attitude?
That's very grown up.
I try like once a week. It's like I have this grown up moment. Hello, today I will be a grown up. Don't worry, it doesn't last more than like an hour. Most time it doesn't even last into the second cup of coffee, right?
It's very, very, very mature grown up. Your parents will be proud of you forever.
No, I think that's an important thing is check it yourself. But then the other thing is I think an awareness of this isn't just working between you and this other person. And I think that's especially true. Like you go to the first date and it's not great, but then you say, okay, like I'm going to give it one more chance, right? Because, like we maybe hit it off like we just did last week. We covered online dating. So maybe the dating profile, there seemed a lot of potential. You're actually on the date and it's not working. But, I would say give it a second date. And then that's the time when you're like, okay, like there's no point of having a third date because this isn't going to work.
I have a better strategy.
Go to the loo, crawl out the window, you're done. Like better than that.
I mean, the second best strategy is you can come back and say, look, I got a call, family emergency, I have to leave. I mean, that's another approach. I mean,
but what if you legit have a family emergency?
Well, then you have to go if you have a family emergency. I mean, you don't really have much of a choice, I mean, what are you going to do? Bring her with you on the family emergency? Like,
I think that you're kind of jinxing yourself, though. Like, if you say it's a family emergency and it's not.
Yeah, but
then you're gonna really have a family emergency because like you've just brought karma down on your head. Like I would not do it. Like that's really bad advice. Like that's the worst advice ever. Go crawl in the loo first.
Pick a relative who's already died, and then say, "I think they've had a bad turn. I need to check." Like a grandfather, great grandfather, or something like that. Like so, you're not going to jinx yourself. You just say, "Oh, my grandfather's in hospital. I have to go visit him." And see, if your grandfather's already dead, well, then, you can't be jinxing it. There you go.
So I'm going to say maybe a different approach where karma doesn't completely crush you.
Okay.
Is message a living relative. Wait, are you ready for this? This is my way out of this. This is my circular logic.
This is very complicated. Okay.
And it'd be like my sister or somebody, right? It'd be like, do you need me to call you? I'm sorry, my sister needs me to call her. I mean, I've just set this up, right?
But there is a better approach.
Okay, so let's get, what is your something better than crawling out the window or like bringing the fate of karma down on your head to crush you? Yeah. What else do you got, Mel?
It's a much simpler approach, and it's basically, at least for the first or second date, this thing of going for dinner or spending too many hours with somebody on the first day. I mean, this is all, it's very high risk. So the challenge is the first date should be short. You keep it short. So let's say 45 minutes, 60 minutes maximum. I mean,
because at least then you can walk away pretty quick. Yeah, and it's going to end.
Yeah, you can tolerate anyone for 45, 60 minutes, So, I mean, it's fine, But the thing is then, you see. But yeah, and just keep the date short. I mean, this thing of going for dinner on a first date, I mean, it's a very long-winded process because, I mean, you end up having to spend 3 or 4 hours with somebody you don't really know. And I mean, the chances of it, working, not working, I mean, it's, you might have to go to the toilet and go disappearing. And I mean, it's cold. It's cold and you lose your jacket. And I mean, if it's, how many jackets can you lose? I mean, and if you leave before the bill is actually paid, you're gaining on the dinner, but you're losing on your jacket. So, I mean, it's kind of all balances out. But so my top tip is keep the date short. There you go. Keep it less than 60 minutes. Everybody's happy.
That's some good advice, Mel. Yeah, especially if you kind of feel like this isn't
even if you do think it's going to be great, keep it short.
Because I've been on first dates like where it started off more like, hey, let's get ice cream or coffee or whatever, and then you walk around a bit, and then you're like, hey, here's a little shop, and then next thing you know, like you do end up going to dinner because it's like really fantastic, right? Yeah. But at least if it's not going well, after you have your ice cream, you're like, oh, this has been lovely ice cream. Thank you.
Exactly. Now,
and then you give the friend hug.
So you keep it short, and you have all these little moments that you can get out without anybody's feelings being hurt. And then it's. I mean, the thing is, what happens if you had 3 or 4 dates on the same day? You can't spend 3 or 4 hours on each date, Whereas
whoa, stop, Mel. You're saying 3 or 4 dates in a day.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, if you had a date like, I don't know, I'd say 6 o'clock and one at 8 o'clock and one at 10 o'clock. I mean, you can't spend 4 hours with each person,
Okay, Mel, we're going to do an episode on dating multiple people, and that is not going to be this episode.
But Mo, I'm just making the point that if you spend too long with that guy that you did the ice cream and then you end up having dinner and all that good stuff, did you end up meeting him a second time?
Yeah, that one actually worked out for a little while.
Okay. Because I would say, spending too much time with somebody on the first date is He ended
up moving out of the country, so that was a thing. I mean,
that was so successful. He left the country.
Well, so as you know, like I met you in Germany, right? And so I move a lot. I've never lived any place over 5 years, and so like. And I tend to gravitate towards expats and people who live a similar lifestyle. So
a guy who left the country counts as a successful date.
That's kind of most of my dating. I had like 2 boyfriends
I
ago.
have lots of successful dates. My dates don't kill themselves. You know.
He didn't. So like I had 2 boyfriends ago. People were like, "Oh, so what happened to your last boyfriend?" I'm like, "Oh, he moved to China," and, and people are like, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a thing in China, you know." Like,
China's thing. China's thing.
so I mean, if you're looking also to like move internationally, you should date me, and then you will most likely gonna like move out of the country. I mean, that's an option. I think that's in a future episode too. Like,
so
how to gracefully get out of bad dating? Just be like, I'm sorry, did I happen to mention I'm moving to China? Like that could also be a thing.
There
right?
you go. So now we have it summarized: is go to the toilet, how to get out of bad date. Go to the toilet, don't come back. Let them pay for the bill, of course. Be careful that you don't do it too often when you have a jacket, that you don't lose the jacket. You have another one where you come back. Second one is you come back and say family emergency, gotta go. Third one is ice cream or equivalent, so you have an exit. And the fourth one is somebody who's leaving the country.
Yeah, just say you're leaving the country. And then if you have to do it, like just leave. Because like a little countries like Ireland, Liechtenstein and stuff, you might literally have to just leave the country for a while. Like like Mel did. Like, hi, this date isn't working. I'm moving to Timbuktu. Timbuktu's good. Nobody actually goes and checks it and see if you moved to Timbuktu.
Exactly.
So those are all really sound options, Mel. Thank you so much, as always. Looking forward to the next time that we're going to talk. And thanks a lot to all of our listeners out there. This is episode 12, so we've made it through an entire quarter of the year. Please let us know your topics. We're building our next topic list right now. So right now we're a little undecided on what we're going to do next week. So we've got some things brewing, but we do like this to be valuable to our viewers. So leave those comments, like us, subscribe. Thank you so much to everybody out there.
Thank you. Bye-bye.